It is rebuild time, and today we are taking our talents to South Wales to rebuild Swansea. They had that stint in the Premier League. They had Michu doing all of that madness. They even won themselves a Carabao Cup not too long ago, but they now find themselves struggling in the Championship. They've just lost their manager, so let's rebuild them. Diving into the game, this is what Swansea look like. We have no updated databases on things right now, and if we dive into their history, you can see they won that Carabao Cup 10 years ago in 2013. If we take a look at the team that we are going to be using and the tactic we are going to be using, it had to be Swansea, didn't it? V3 of this tactic is out right now. I will leave a link to it down in the description as well. But this is the best 11 with Swansea City. Now, I'm sure GYR will be very intrigued to see how this one turns out and how many his boy Joe Piero actually is able to score for the Swans. The team looks okay, and if we go into the competitions tab, this is how we're looking, guys. Of course, we have the two domestic cup competitions, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and the board expectation for season number 1 is for us to finish in the top half of the Championship. If we have a look at the Championship, obviously, as I mentioned, there is no updated databases, but the season does start with Wigan on -3 and Reading on -6 points. However, if we go into the season preview, we are predicted to finish in 15th. We are 25-1 to win the title. Of course, there are relegated teams like Burnley, Watford, Norwich, etc. So we're going to have to see what we can do in season number 1. Come on, you Swans. Swansea fitting with the Swans. Who'd have thought it? We are up. We are promoted to the Premier League, ladies and gents. We are finished in second, only on goal difference, just behind Norwich on 92 points. Now, I will say, this is a slow-scoring team, into a slow-scoring table in terms of their points. You usually see teams win the Championship with 100, 110 plus points. So for it to be in the 90s, is benefited us an absolute treat. We got 28 victories throughout the course of the season, 8 draws, 10 defeats, plus 39 in terms of that goal difference. And if you look at our man, Joe Piero, he was our top goal scorer as well. 36 goals in all competitions, which was in 43 appearances, along with 5 assists. He is now wanted by Hamburg, but we will be going up into the Premier League. We got knocked out in the third round of the Emirates FA Cup by Coventry City, which is a little bit disappointing. And we got knocked out in the third round of the, FA Cup by Coventry, third round of the Carabao Cup by Rotherham United as well. But the main thing, guys, we have gone above and beyond in terms of exceeding expectation here. We've managed to get ourselves promoted at the first time of asking. Blackpool, Millwall, Reading get themselves relegated. Wigan actually managed to save themselves even with the 3-point deduction. Norwich go up with us. Blackburn, Coventry, Burnley and Watford are all in the Premier League, but we're going to have to see next season who has actually joined us. If we go into the finances, of course, we get the standard 38-ish, more 37.5 million for getting promoted from the Championship to the Premier League. So that's what we're going to have to do. The wage budget has increased by £170,000 a week. It's going to be one busy summer going into season number 2. So guys, going into season number 2, this is going to be the biggest transfer window yet. There is going to be a lot of bodies in and out, and on your screen right now, you can see some of the moves. Talking about some of the biggest outs, Ryan Manning has gone to Watford for £13 million. Morgan Whittaker has gone to Stoke for £7.5 million. Jay Fulton gone to Sheffield Wednesday for 3.3. Michael Obafemi has gone to Blackburn for 1.8. My boys, Bristol City, have been improved. Joel has gone to Bristol City for £1.6 million. Nathaniel Ogbata has gone to Bristol City for £1.4 million. Sorry, I'm struggling with some of these names. Andrew Fisher has gone to Stoke for £1.1 million. So as you can see, there's 29 million quid here. There's another 14 over here. We've had some transfers. Brandon Cooper has gone to Plymouth Argyle for £2.2 million. And Joel Piero has gone to FC Twente. Our top goal scorer from last season has gone to SC Twente to be their new man. He has gone for £11 million. But, ladies and gents, we have been very, very active in the transfer market. There's only one signing you can make in season number 1 if you get promoted out of the Championship. Alex Scott is here from Bristol City. He is here for £15 million. We've also picked up Ben Berrington Diaz, obviously the Chilean. Yes, he's definitely from Chile international. He comes in as well to play as an option on a several number of positions. Gian Larios comes in, fullback option for us on that left-hand side. Looks like a very good prospect. 15 pace, 16 acceleration. We like those. Daniel Ballard, the former Arsenal youth player, comes in from Sunderland as well. You can see all their fees here, guys. He came in from Sunderland for £7.5 million. Victor Johansson comes in as a new goalkeeping option for us. Again, from another championship side, comes in from Rotherham. Daniel Furlong comes in from West Brom as well. Another good option for us in that right back spot. Tahith Chong from Birmingham. They've got no money. Tahith Chong is more than welcome at this team. George Baldock has joined from Sheffield United. Damari Gray, Luke Wolfenden. You can see all of these players that we've signed here. And then on to the second page, Jan Kamara has come in on a free transfer from Torino. Francisco Coensao has come in from Ajax on loan for the season for £1.2 million. Andy Leons has come in from Blackpool for £2.1 million. And Ali Akman is the last man through the door as a striker. We have completely rejuvenated this squad, ladies and gents. And if I go into the team selection and quick pick without restriction, our best 11, this is how the team's looking. We are strong, ladies and gents. This is probably one of the best teams that we've been able to assemble from that transition from a championship club up into a Premier League team. So in goal, we have Stephen Bender, George Baldock, Daniel Ballard. Then we probably need a centre-back here because Darling is out on loan. Larios there. Sarr, Grimes, of course, Matty Grimes, he's still in the team. Kamara, Alex Scott, Damari Gray, and Ben Berrington Diaz is going to be our striker for the season. We've got depth on the bench as well, ladies and gents. We are stacked. We are ready to go. So we open up the competitions tab. Board expectation is to avoid relegation in the Premier League, because of course it is. If we look at the season preview, we are stone dead last, 900 to 1 to get ourselves promoted over instalments and stuff like that, plus players sold. We spent around 100 mil in this transfer window, and we're still predicted to finish stone dead last. Norwich got themselves promoted automatically as champions last year, and Watford were the team to come out of the playoffs. So they are the three that make up the teams in the Premier League, and we are expected to finish stone dead last. In the other competitions, obviously, we do have the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but the board just want us to be competitive in those. They don't really care about how we get promoted or how we do in those, as long as we stay in the Premier League, and that is going to be my main goal. Let's get season 2 done and dusted. I'll be back in a sec. Survival was the name of the game in season number 2, and as you can see, we're just about there. We are in 16th. We're just about making the cutoff on the competitions tab. We did finish, as I said, in 16th all season. We managed to pick ourselves up 9 victories, 13 draws, though. If we managed to turn some of those draws into victories, how different things could have been. 16 defeats, minus 18 in terms of that goal difference, and 40 points. It always used to be the magical 40-point mark to get yourselves safe, and we managed to do that. Norwich and Watford, the other two teams that were promoted with us, they've gone as well. Nottingham Forest also relegated from the Premier League, which Manchester City do go on to win. If we take a look at our home screen, you can see Ben Berrington Diaz is our top goal scorer with 21 goals in all competitions in 41 appearances. I think that's a solid return. I think he's done pretty well for us there, and his versatility will help as we move on. Tahith Chong was our highest average rating, as you can see, and Kamara was our top assister with 10. In terms of the other competitions, knocked out in the 5th round of the FA Cup by Brentford, 4th round of the Carabao Cup by Brighton, but by surviving in the Premier League, you usually have some money to spend. That has not kicked in yet, but you can see our overall club balance is 24.8 million. We are ready and rocking and rolling. We are ready to go for season number 3, our 2nd year in the Premier League. Okay, moving into season number 3, we've been very active in that transfer market yet again, and we're going to have to start on this particular screen because we have started our business really early. It's listed as the end of last season. I don't understand how FM works sometimes, but Nicholas Jensen Vasberg is a player who comes in to play for us in central midfield for season number 3. He is a Norwegian youth international. He's only 20. He comes in from Brann. He was valued at £2.4 million. At the end of last season, I touched on the fact that Norwich did get relegated, but Nottingham Forest got relegated as well. That allowed us to activate the £9.25 million release clause on Morgan Gibbs-White. He comes in again, another option for us, can play either central midfield or in that cam spot, and is actually very, very good in real life as well. We picked Birmingham's pocket for another starlet. Joe Bellingham comes in for £2.6 million. Yes, Joe, not Jude. Pasquale Mazzocchi comes in from Lazio for £9.25 million. Again, another improvement in that fullback position, and he can play on both sides, which is absolutely fantastic. Alejandro Francis comes in from Real Zaragoza for 6.5 million quid. There you go. You can see him on your screen now. He can play at centre back. He can play at right back. Again, a massive improvement in this particular area. And we bought ourselves in the big tree that is Lorenzo Luca. He is still very good this year, guys. Don't be fooled by the fact that people say he's not as good as he was last year in FM22. Yes, he is. He had his first season at Ajax, actually played at Ajax, which is fantastic. That doesn't always happen. Then he had a full season in Serie B, and his development has allowed him to be purchased for 6.5 million quid. He looks like an absolute monster. He's 6'7". He's just a beast. He's going to score loads. I can't wait to see how Lorenzo Luca does in this team. On the other page, now we've moved over into the start of this season. You can see some of the players that we've had go out of the club as well. £7.5 million for Victor Johansson. We only signed him last season, turned him over for a profit. Same with Andy Lyons and Ali Akman and George Warlock. They've all gone for profit. Liam Cullen's gone to Derby County as well. And then there's a few frees and a couple loans at the bottom of the screen there. On the other side, the other incomings. Adrian Blake comes in from Watford for £1 million. Again, another rapid youth option. He is only 19 years of age, though. Lucas Asadi comes in from University de Chile. He looks very good as well. Can play in a number of positions. Of course, versatility is highly important in here. Oscar Pereira comes in. Again, another wonder kid in this year's game. If you haven't picked him up before, he is very good as well from Atletico Nacional. Picked him up for 500k. Let's see how he develops. Elia Caprelli, the goalkeeping superstar that is, or otherwise known in my streams on twitch.tv/gaminguk, Capri Sun. He's very good. Young goalkeeper coming in from Barry for £4.6 million. Asdin Unai comes in from Marseille, Moroccan international, of course. He can play in central midfield, can play in defensive midfield, can play in attacking midfield as well. We love a bit of versatility. Sterigu comes in, of course, as a defensive option, can play as a centre-back. I've seen him play in full-back positions before. I definitely have, because he's only 5'11". He looks very good, coming in from St. Gallen for £14.5 million. And then the last one, I'm out of breath. Matthias Abadalo comes in as well as another option for us. Several options, lots of options. You need squad depth, and we've definitely got it, as you can see here. If we quick pick without restriction, this is our best 11 heading into the season, and I'm happy with this team for sure. We got Caprelli, Mazzocchi, Ballard, Francis, Larios, Scott, Chong, Karamoa, Gibbs-White, Ben, Brereton, Diaz, and then that big tree up top, Lorenzo Luca, and I'm backing him to do a madness this year. If we take a look at the competitions tab, the board wants us to just fight bravely against relegation. It's a step up from what it was last season, so we're going to have to see, and they just want us to be competitive in the domestic cups. If we go into that Premier League, 900 to 1 last season to avoid relegation. We are now, yeah, the exact same, 900 to 1 to avoid, to win the title, sorry. And even the promoted teams like Wolves, Leicester and Sheffield United are all predicted to do better than we are in this season. It's time to show them that the Swans mean business. I told you Lorenzo Luca would be the difference. On screen for season number 3, this is the competitions tab, and ladies and gentlemen, we have finished in 8th with Swansea. Yes, in our second season in the Premier League, we finished on 60 points, which was actually the same amount of points that got Tottenham into the Europa Conference League. We have made absolutely huge strides, but we only have that +7 goal difference, so there are still improvements to be made. Knocked out in the third round of the FA Cup by Villa, knocked out in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup as well by West Ham. But what a season for the Swans. 17 victories, 9 draws, 12 defeats in the Premier League in total. And if we go onto the home screen, 28 goals in all competitions. for this youngster. I'm calling him a youngster. He's only 24. He's only going to get better. His stamina, his strength, his jumping reach, it's all amazing. As I mentioned, go and sign this guy. He's a monster. Genuinely is very good. Top goal scorer, highest average rating. Demarai Gray and Abaldo getting the 7 assists apiece. A very impressive performance from the boys. Talking for season 4 though, the budget's not come in yet, so let's spend because we're in the Premier League, baby, and that's where all the money comes from. So moving into season number 4, there's been another upheaval in the squad, a decent amount of player turnover. Let's talk about one of the big ones to leave. Matty Grimes has first of all gone to Nottingham Forest for 500k, which is a shame, but Ben Brereton Diaz is now a Ipswich Town player. We couldn't guarantee him as much match time as he wanted, and Ipswich are now finding themselves in the Premier League themselves, and they are on 12. They bought him for £12 million. It is a ludicrous fee, 12 million quid for him coming into Ipswich, and then we've been busy on the other side of the coin, ladies and gents. Let's see where we started. We started here with these 3 transfers. João Rives comes in for £1.6 million. Again, you need to bring in these youth players, and as you can see, we've started trying to find some of these new gen talents. We've also brought in David Brooks from Bournemouth for 16 million quid. That will rise probably to 16.5. Another good Welsh option for us. It's always good to have that little bit of Welshie in the team still. And then Matthias Brondonier comes in from Austria then for 8.75 million pounds. And looking at him again, another very solid option. 23 years of age, 1 cap for the Austrian national team. Looks like a very good player here as well. High position and high work rate, high determination. Chef's kiss. We've been quite busy in the transfer market though, because there's more on this page. There's so much you have to do to keep a club in the Premier League. In terms of some of the other outgoings, Demarai Gray has gone. Another loan for Joe Bellingham as well, just in a hope to try and push him up. He is getting there slowly. He's slowly turning into a potential player that we could use. And then let's talk about some of the incomings. Andre Amaro comes in from Victoria Gimaresh. I can never say correctly. He is the elite tier centre-back I feel like we were missing last season. 4 caps for Portugal, 22 years of age, 6'1", seems like a nice little bit of a beast. I just saw that he brings the ball out from defence as well, which is a really nice touch. Yusuf Shameti comes in, another wonder kid since the January winter ratings refresh. A very good player, but in this particular instance, doesn't look like he's played enough. Could be a good deputy for Lorenzo Luca nonetheless. Silky Ilkay Gundogan comes in on a free transfer. No Barcelona for you this time around. Come on over to the Swans. We know how to play good football. He comes in on a free transfer from Manchester City and only on £32,500 a week as well. And then the last player to come in is Dylan Bakwa. He comes in from Bordeaux. Another high pace, high acceleration, high dribbling winger to cause issues off the bench. I think he's going to be a very good impact player for us this time around. If we go into the team, quick pick without restriction, our best 11. This is how we're looking right now, ladies and gents. Caprelli, Mazioki, Sterigu, Amaro, Larios, Bundanier, Ilkay Gundogan still playing despite his advancing years. Brooks, Scott, Chong, Luca. Look at Alex Scott as well, ladies and gents. He is getting very good. His mental attributes are so good this time around. 21 years of age, still hasn't been capped by England yet, but he's valued at almost £75 million. Oh baby. Let's look at the competitions. Because of the way things fell, I have to tell you guys about this, because of the way things fell last season and the additional spots and all of this good loveliness, as you can see, West Ham actually qualified for the Europa League in 9th. We're in the Europa Conference League, so that's why there's lots of players here. I didn't want to tell you about it beforehand. We are in the Europa Conference League where we take on Vaduz. There's a very interesting story coming about them. We might see a rebuild with them soon. Emirates FA Cup, Carabao Cup as well. The board wants us to actually reach the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, which is a bit cheeky, and finish in the top half of the Premier League. If we have a look at the season preview for season number 4, 250 to 1 to win the league. So they've obviously felt like we've improved, and we most certainly have. We are predicted to finish in 15th though. Fulham, Norwich and Ipswich Town all promoted, all worse odds than us. Let's see what we can do in season number 4. Season 4 is done and dusted, and we've gone and got ourselves a trophy, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, surprise, surprise, a team from the Premier League has won the Europa Conference League. Yes, we have gone all the way in that one, and we finished 5th in the Premier League. Positive goal difference, signing that defender from Portugal really seems to have helped. Plus 29 in terms of that goal difference. 29 victories all season, 8 draws, 9 defeats. As I said, that plus 29 goal difference and 71 points. We finished on the same points total as Newcastle United, edged them out on goal difference, and we're only 3 points away from the top 3 and a Champions League spot. Obviously, there's some madness going on here. Obviously, you can see that Tottenham have qualified for the Champions League, and us winning the Europa Conference League as well guarantees us into the Europa League next season. So there's lots going on. Let's talk about some of the other cup competitions. Quarterfinals, we got to the Emirates FA Cup quarterfinals, and we lost to Tottenham, which is disappointing. I hate losing to Tottenham. Then we got to the third round of the Carabao Cup, disappointingly knocked out by Southampton. But let's talk about this Europa Conference League. We got to the final. We beat Real Sociedad in that final, 3-1, as you can see here. 3 nice goals, 2 in the first half, and then Alex Scott with a final nail in the coffin to make sure that everyone was all comfortable going into the final few minutes. None of this Jarrod Bowen 90-plus minute malarkey. We got ourselves through, and Alex Scott settled those nerves. If we take a look in the schedule, though, if we filter just down to the Europa Conference League, so you can kind of see what our run was like. We got through past Vaduz, then we put on a show against this team from Serbia here, beating them 3-0 in the first leg and then 8-0 at home. League of Warsaw, Eintracht Frankfurt, a team that I don't know from Baku, love it. Another team that I don't know. This one's from Montenegro. Yeah, okay, fantastic. Hadra Split and Rapid Bucuresti in the league phase. Comfortable for us there. We took on Vitoria de Guimarães, the team that I can never say correctly. And then we took on Rennes, then we took on Club Bruges, and we're comfortable here. Comfortable losing some of these games, but we get our way through. Comfortable in the semi-final against Bruges, and then obviously that result against Sociedad that I did mention. We're comfortable, and the main thing, if we go on the home screen, 41 goals for this big man. 41 goals in 49 appearances in all competitions for Lorenzo Luca. He is now wanted by Tottenham and Juve going into season number 5. It's going to be interesting to keep hold of him. Alex Scott, 18 assists for him alongside 20 goals. He's just developing into a fantastic footballer. Can play in any 3 of those key positions. Can actually play out on the right if you need him to. 17 composure, nice flair, nice off the ball, nice vision. Mwah. I love this man. I have an Alex Scott shirt in my drawer. It needs to go up on that wall ASAP. We qualified for the Europa League next season by 2 ways. We finished 5th in the Premier League, so we're going to have some money to spend. It's not hit just yet, but we're going to be serious contenders for season number 5. So guys, before we get into the transfer update for season number 5, this is the part of the video where I ask, if you are still watching this rebuild, to comment something down below. And all I want to see today is Michu. Yes, Michu, M-I-C-H-U. If you remember, you remember. He was an absolute god when he was in the Prem. You need to go and check him out if you haven't. Put that comment down below, Michu, and let's get into the transfers for season number 5, because we've been busy. We've been active in the transfer market yet again, and you can see some of the moves that we've made, some of the early moves. Amar Dedic comes in from Real Salzburg. He can play as a left back. He was in my cheap Wonder Kids video. If you haven't seen that, do go and check it out. Comes in from RB Salzburg for £14.75 million. Calvin comes in from Bournemouth for £31.5 million. He's potentially one of the most well-rounded players you will ever see in Football Manager. Double digits in every single attribute. He comes in for £31.5 million. Hassan Odrego comes in. If we want another Wonder Kid to go in midfield with Alex Scott, this is the guy. He is 6'4". He's a monster. He comes out of Schalke, and he look at where he can play. Look at how good he is. Just look at his attributes. They're amazing. He came in from Schalke for £18.25 million. We also picked up Matt O'Reilly from Celtic as well. Another central midfield option, supremely well-rounded. Looks like a great little player. Nice high vision, nice high balance, good first touch. We like those. We've had a couple players go out as well. Morgan Gibbs-White is the most expensive one on this particular page. He's gone to Norwich for £18.5 million. Then we flick over and you can see we've got 64 million quid on this side. 31.5 million pounds for Alejandro Francis. He's gone to Liverpool of all places. He's gone over to Liverpool after a couple good spells with us. 31.5 million pounds for him. Matthias Abaldo, there we go, goes over to Real Betis for 15.5 million pounds. Mazioki goes over to Valencia for 15.25 million pounds, and Jan Camara goes over to Olympiacos for 2 million quid. And then on the other side, we've got Quinton Timber on a free. Not the Timber that everybody wants, but he is very, very good nonetheless. He's a very good player coming in from Feyenoord there. Bolsters us. He come in on a free transfer, and then we spent 40 million up front for this man, Harvey Elliott. Now, I had this guy at Versailles. He was exceptional then, and I think he could be exceptional now. Look at these stats here. Look at these attributes here. Nice high teamwork, vision, work rate, fantastic. Good off the ball, good determination, passing. I think he could be very good. And I'm hoping he can kind of get his career back on track, because if we look, he's not actually played loads for Liverpool, and I think he's going to be a key player in our team going into season number 5. If we quick pick without restriction now, best 11, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we are looking. Caporelli, Calvin, Stirigu, Amaro, Dedic, Asan, O'Reilly there, Elliott, Scott, Chong, Luca. I think it's a good young team. Alex Scott is unhappy. He wants to move to a club with a stronger squad. Let's see if we can give him one last send-off in this advanced playmaker position, because that is perfect for him, to be perfectly honest. If we go into the competitions tab, this is what we have. We're in the Champions League, guys. Now, we would have qualified for the Europa League via winning the Conference League last season, but once all the competitions were over and the positions were settled, you can see we finished in 5th, but we do qualify for the Champions League, as do Tottenham, who finished in 8th. They won the Europa League. It's all a bit messy, but we will be playing Champions League football for this 5th and final season, which is going to be really interesting. The board won a top half finish in the Premier League, quarter-finalists in both the domestic cups, and if we have a look at the pre-season odds for the Premier League, you can see we are predicted to finish in 9th, 100-1 to win the title. That's got to be worth a tenner, right? Okay, so the title was a little bit beyond us, but we did add another trophy to the trophy cabinet, because we are FA Cup champions, baby. Let's go. We had one hell of a season. We only got one more point in the league more than last season. We got 71 last year, 72 this year, and we do finish in 3rd. Arsenal go on to win the title. We had a little bit of a patchy run towards the end of the season there, as you can see. 3 draws, 1 win, 1 loss. Bit disappointing. Let's start on the right hand side of the screen and we'll work our way over. Quarter-finalists in the Carabao Cup. We were knocked out by Wolves in that one. We got all the way to the final of the FA Cup, where we were lucky enough to come up against Norwich, and we taught them a lesson at Wembley. Goals from Matt O'Reilly, Lorenzo Luca, Quinton Timber and Kelvin were enough to see us comfortably go past Norwich and win ourselves an FA Cup. Champions League, we got to the round of 16. Swansea versus Real Madrid. They beat us 7-4 on aggregate, including this 5-3 thriller at the Bernabeu. They've got players like Declan Rice, Fede Valverde, Kingsley Coman, Jean-Mario Vinicius Jr. all still there. Wilfred Gnonto is another player that they've got, a very good player as well. This is a very good team, a very interesting time to take on Real Madrid. And let's go and have a look. They're not even in the final. It's Inter versus Barcelona, so that is really disappointing. And then the Premier League, yes, we do finish in 3rd, which is absolutely ridiculous. Lorenzo Luca doing Lorenzo Luca things. Our top goal scorer for us in the season, 32 goals in all competitions. Tahith Chong, the best average rating, so shout out to him coming from Birmingham for dirt cheap, absolutely taking advantage of their financial situation. He's done really, really well. Harvey Elliott with the most assists as well on this team towards the end. Alex Scott still here, baby, but he is wanted by Manchester United, my guy. Okay, so that is the rebuild of Swansea, ladies and gents. If you do like the rebuilds, check out this playlist. It's popping out right now. It's all the rebuilds that we've done on FM23.